I'm here in Spokane, Washington, actually, all the way up in chilly Spokane, where I'm staying in a little old hotel. Gosh, it's like a 150-year-old hotel. So today I want to talk about fights and how your fights or the way you're fighting is influencing your relationship. This is happening for all of us. So how we fight influences if we're making love, how often we're making love, if we're ever making love. And it's very important. And you know this. Intrinsically, we know that when we're not getting along, we're not going to want to make love. We are not going to want to be vulnerable, to open ourselves up to a partner, to ourselves, even in pleasure. So what can you do to change that today? There are 3 things I suggest that you do about your fights. Most of us have chronic fights. So it's almost like we put in a record, we put on a playlist, and it's the first fight, then it's the second fight, then it's the third fight. These are fights that we're familiar with, that have happened over and over. They're chronic. They are perennial fights. They're like dahlias or like azaleas in the garden that come up year after year. And we can expect them and we know how to be in them. And as soon as they happen, boom, we're off to the races together. And they're damaging to us because they keep us from connecting with ourselves and with our partner. And it certainly keeps us, these fights certainly keep us from being sexual together, being willing to be vulnerable and open. So there are 3 things that I want you to do to change this. The first is to make a list of your chronic or perennial fights. So what are the 3 things you fight about most? Now, you might fight about lots of things. You might fight about almost nothing. If you find yourself saying, Jane, I don't ever fight in my relationship, we get along beautifully, that may be true, but there could be underneath that 3 things that you avoid conflicting about. Jim and I have those kinds of things. We don't fight a lot, but there are things we kind of steer clear of. So in your case, if that's you and you don't fight vigorously about things, write down 3 things that you kind of stay clear of when you're talking with your partner, or things that you actively fight about. So it might be money, it might be the kids, it might be sex, could be the way you spend your free time, who does things around the house, how the dishes are loaded or unloaded in the dishwasher, who takes out the garbage. These things, even though they sound cliche and we've talked about them forever, and it's like the toothbrush or toothpaste question, they still do impact us. So write these things down, 3 things that you and your partner fight about or have conflict about or somehow avoid in your relationship. That's the first step. The second step is to really think about your intention for your connection with your partner. Think about what you want to have there and the way you want to feel. I really want you to take some time to connect with that intention, that you want to feel alive, connected, in love, the way it used to be, whatever it is, easy, that you want that. So write down your intention, think about your intention for your relationship and write that down, get connected to that in yourself. You don't have to do any of this with your partner. This is just a you thing, just you and yourself, that's all. So write that down, think about that. And then the third thing is the hardest, but it is change yourself. So think about the way you are relating to these topics. So if it's the dishwasher, for example, and I can't tell you how often the dishwasher becomes this issue, this thing. Like I should write a book about sex in the dishwasher. I'd probably be a bestseller because something about that particular place or the way we do dishes, if you don't have a dishwasher, the way we handle the day in, day outness of food coming through the house, it's kind of like the breath of the house. It's like what feeds us, literally and figuratively. And so there's a lot of conflict that people run into around this place in the house, this particular thing, the sink. It's not surprising that when people come over for a party, they're always in the kitchen. There's something about the kitchenness of sex, of our relationship that is really something else. So change the way that you, on your side of this conversation, the way you are reacting, the way you are receiving or thinking about your partner and what they do. Now, of course, they do stuff that's annoying, that's irritating, that you don't like. I totally get that. But I want you right now to think about yourself, not your partner, not the other person, just you, what you do and how you might be able to hold this, meaning think about or feel or kind of reflect on this thing differently. So how might you feel or be or act if it wasn't a conflictive area, if you could just kind of allow it to be different? Or maybe there's some other way. Maybe you need to speak up more. Maybe you need to speak up less. Think about the way you're reacting to your partner. And then the tricky bit is change yourself. Change yourself, because you can only change yourself. I can only change myself. We can't change our partner. Change yourself as you think about that. That's it for today. I am so pleased to be able to talk with you about these important things like fights, like intimacy, like connection, sexuality, all these things that we get to talk about here. Delighted to talk with you. And if you feel like you're having some concerns in these areas, please get on my calendar. I would love to talk with you. I would love to share with you or hear you share with me what's been going on for you. You can do that very easily. I'll stick a link to that in the comments here on this little mini Facebook Live. This is funny. I can see that this, it looks like I have something hitting me on the head when I'm talking here in this hotel room. Anyway, I hope that you're doing well. I'm here in freezing cold Spokane, Washington for a writing conference. And I look forward to hearing from you, seeing you in my email inbox, seeing you in my calendar. Have a wonderful day and take care of yourself, and think about these 3 things, like make a list, remember your intention in your relationship, and change yourself. Like, what would that look like? I know we know how to change our partner, but how can we change? How can you change yourself? Bye bye.